Have you ever wondered why the most iconic Batmobile in cinema history looks more like a military weapon than a car? What if I told you this legendary vehicle started as junkyard scraps and involved secrets that even the biggest Batman fans don't know? Today, we're counting down 20 weird facts about the 1989 Batmobile that will completely change how you see Tim Burton's masterpiece. From jet fighter parts to design tragedies, these revelations might just blow your mind. So buckle up and let's dive into the Batcave of automotive mysteries. Number 20. The Batmobile was built from a 1967 Chevy Impala found in a London junkyard. When production designer Anton Furst needed a base for Batman's new ride, he didn't go to a luxury car dealership. Instead, his team found a beat-up Chevrolet Impala rotting in a London scrapyard. This unglamorous starting point was perfect for what would become cinema's most menacing vehicle. The Impala's long wheelbase and strong frame provided the foundation for something extraordinary. The chassis were actually spliced together to achieve the Batmobile's imposing 20-foot length. The transformation from junk to icon proves that sometimes the best creations start in the most unlikely places. This approach also kept costs manageable while creating something that looked like it cost millions. Number 19. Julian Caldo actually designed the Batmobile, not Anton Furst. While Anton Furst gets most of the credit as production designer, the actual conceptual illustrations for the Batmobile were drafted by Julian Caldo. Working under direction from Tim Burton and Furst, Caldo created the initial drawings that would define the vehicle's iconic look. Furst is often given full credit for the design, but in reality he served more as creative director while Caldo did the actual artistic work. Caldo also designed the look of the cocoon shielding and worked closely with Burton to ensure every detail matched the director's dark vision. This is a classic case of Hollywood hierarchy overshadowing the real artists behind legendary creations. Caldo's contributions extended beyond just sketches, as he helped solve practical engineering problems during construction. Number 18. Two Impala chassis were spliced together to create the 20-foot length. The standard Chevrolet Impala wasn't nearly long enough for Burton's vision of an imposing Batmobile. So the production team took to separate Impala chassis and literally welded them together to achieve the vehicle's intimidating 20-foot length. This wasn't just about looks. The extended wheelbase was necessary to accommodate all the planned weaponry and gadgets. The splicing process required extensive engineering to maintain structural integrity while creating something that had never been attempted before in automotive construction. Professional race car builders were brought in to ensure the modified chassis could handle high-speed stunts and the weight of all the additional equipment. Number 17. Real Rolls-Royce jet engine parts were used for the hood intake. The distinctive air intake mounted on the Batmobile's hood wasn't just a prop made of fiberglass. The production team used actual components from a Rolls-Royce jet engine to create this menacing detail. These weren't cheap decorative pieces, they were genuine aerospace-grade parts that cost thousands of dollars. The decision to use real jet components reflected the film's commitment to authenticity and helped give the vehicle its genuinely intimidating presence. The intake was mounted low in the frame to maintain the car's sleek profile while adding an unmistakably military appearance that suggested serious power lurking beneath the hood. Number 16. Harrier fighter jet turbine blades were installed in the nose. The spinning turbine visible in the Batmobile's nose cone came from an actual British Harrier jump jet. These weren't replicas or movie props, but real military aircraft components salvaged from decommissioned fighter planes. The turbine blades were designed to withstand the extreme forces of vertical takeoff flight, making them perfect for the Batmobile's aggressive aesthetic. Using genuine military hardware added an authentic menace that no fake prop could have achieved. The spinning blades also created an ominous sound effect during filming that enhanced the vehicle's threatening presence on screen. Number 15. Batman's cowl ears were too big and had to be modified to fit inside the car. When Michael Keaton first tried to get into the completed Batmobile, there was an embarrassing problem. His iconic cowl with those distinctive pointed ears was too tall to clear the vehicle's low roofline. The production team had spent months perfecting the car's sleek silhouette, but nobody had thought to check if Batman could actually fit inside. Rather than modify the expensive vehicle, costume designer Bob Ring would had to create a special modified cowl with shorter ears specifically for driving scenes. This backup cowl became known as the driving helmet among the crew. The modification was so subtle that most viewers never noticed the difference between the regular cowl and the shortened version used in car scenes. Number 14. The paint job was completely different between Batman and Batman Returns. If you look closely at the Batmobile in both films, you'll notice the paint finish changed dramatically between movies. The 1989 version had a distinctive matte finish that absorbed light and made the car look more menacing and tank-like. However, for Batman Returns in 1992, the vehicle received a glossy finish that reflected light and gave it a more polished appearance. This wasn't an accident or oversight, it was a deliberate artistic choice by the production team to match the updated visual style of the sequel. The glossy finish also photographed better under the different lighting conditions used in Batman Returns. Additionally, the sequel version featured new window wipers that weren't present on the original car. Number 13. Warner Brothers turned down $6 million from General Motors to build the Batmobile. In one of Hollywood's most expensive rejections, producer Jon Peters refused a massive $6 million offer from General Motors to create the Batmobile using their vehicles and technology. GM wanted to showcase their engineering capabilities and use the film as a marketing opportunity for their brand. However, Peters insisted that the car company would not relinquish creative control over the final design. The studio felt that accepting GM's money would compromise the artistic vision and turn the Batmobile into a commercial advertisement rather than a cinematic masterpiece. This decision to maintain creative independence ultimately resulted in a more authentic and memorable vehicle design. The $6 million would be worth over $15 million in today's money. Number 12. Anton first committed suicide and couldn't work on Batman Returns. The brilliant production designer who helped create the dark, gothic vision of Gotham City and oversaw the Batmobile's development met a tragic end. In 1991, Anton first took his own life, shortly after breaking up with actress Beverly D'Angelo and struggling with the side effects of a sleeping medication called Halcyon. The drug had been banned in Britain due to its potential side effects including depression, paranoia, and amnesia. Even before his death, First was unable to work on Batman Returns because he had signed an exclusive contract with Columbia Pictures. Producer Jon Peters had convinced him to leave Warner Brothers with promises of directing work that never materialized. First's absence from the sequel was deeply felt by Tim Burton and the entire production team. Number 11. The cocoon armor was created using stop-motion animation techniques. One of the Batmobile's most impressive features was its ability to deploy heavy armor plating that completely encased the vehicle for protection. For the 1989 film, this transformation was achieved using stop-motion animation rather than computer graphics, which barely existed at the time. The production team built a full-size model of the armored vehicle and used traditional stop-motion techniques to animate the armor deployment sequence. This painstaking process required hundreds of individual photographs to create just a few seconds of screen time. For Batman Returns, the armor design was more subtle and the effects were achieved using early computer-generated imagery rather than stop-motion. The original stop-motion sequence remains one of the most impressive practical effects of the era. Number 10. All gadgets were functional except the cocoon mode. Unlike many movie cars that rely purely on visual effects, nearly every gadget on the 1989 Batmobile actually worked. The machine guns were real Browning weapons that could fire blanks, the grappling hooks functioned mechanically, and the oil slick dispensers actually released slippery substances. The smoke screen system used genuine military-grade smoke canisters that created thick clouds of concealment. Even the dashboard gauges were connected to real aircraft instruments salvaged from fighter jets. The only major exception was the cocoon armor mode, which required stop-motion animation because the mechanical complexity was beyond 1980s technology. This commitment to functional props gave the actors genuine reactions and made the stunts more believable. John Evans, who built the car's mechanical systems, took pride in making Batman's arsenal as real as possible within safety constraints. Number 9. Ferrari taillights and London bus fuel caps were used in construction. The Batmobile's menacing appearance came from an eclectic mix of components sourced from unexpected places. The sleek taillights that gave the rear of the car its distinctive glow were actually taken from Ferrari sports cars, providing that perfect blend of elegance and aggression. Even more surprisingly, the fuel caps were salvaged from London double-decker buses, repurposed to fit the Batmobile's dark aesthetic. Art director Terry Ackland Snow even contributed headlights from his wife's Honda Civic after noticing how they would look on the vehicle. This creative scavenging approach meant that parts of the world's most famous superhero car could be found on everyday vehicles throughout Europe. The mixing of luxury, utilitarian, and military components created a unique visual identity that no single manufacturer could have achieved. Number 8. A radio-controlled model was used for Batcave driving scenes. The iconic sequence showing the Batmobile navigating through the forest road to reach the Batcave wasn't filmed with the full-size vehicle. Instead, the production team used a detailed radio-controlled model car driven through a miniature forest set. This technique allowed for more dramatic camera angles and eliminated the risk of damaging the expensive hero car on rough terrain. The miniature Batmobile was built to the same exacting standards as the full-size version, complete with working headlights and perfectly scaled details. The model was controlled by skilled operators who could maneuver it through the intricate miniature landscape with precision. This combination of practical miniature work and full-scale vehicle shots created seamless sequences that convinced audiences they were watching the real car throughout. Number 7. The car was powered by a 327 cubic inch Chevrolet V8 engine. Beneath the Batmobile's imposing hood sat a genuine American muscle car heart. The 327 cubic inch Chevy V8 provided the power needed to move the vehicle's considerable weight while maintaining reliability during long filming days. The engine was mounted low in the frame to preserve the car's sleek profile and aggressive stance. This wasn't just for show. The Batmobile needed real performance capability for chase scenes and stunts. The Chevy power plant was chosen for its durability and the availability of spare parts, crucial considerations during an intensive film production schedule. Despite all the exotic military components used elsewhere on the vehicle, the production team relied on proven American automotive engineering to keep the Batmobile running when the cameras rolled. Number 6. 5 total cars were built, 2 for films and 3 for promotion. The complexity and importance of the Batmobile to both movies meant that Warner Brothers commissioned multiple vehicles to ensure production could continue smoothly. 2 cars served as the primary filming vehicles, with one designated as the hero car for close-ups and detailed shots, while the other handled stunt work and action sequences. After the film's success, 3 additional studio-authorized Batmobiles were constructed specifically for publicity and promotional use. These promotional vehicles toured car shows, appeared at movie premieres, and helped generate excitement for both Batman films. Each car cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to build and required months of skilled craftsmanship. Having multiple vehicles prevented production delays when one needed repairs and allowed for simultaneous filming at different locations. Here are the next 5 facts continuing the sequence. Number 5. Jeff Dunham the comedian later bought one and made it street legal. After the films wrapped, One of the promotional Batmobiles found an unlikely new owner in stand-up comedian and ventriloquist Jeff Dunham. But Dunham didn't just want to display the vehicle in his garage. He wanted to actually drive it on public roads. To make this possible, he had the car completely rebuilt with a modern Corvette engine and all the necessary safety equipment required for street-legal operation. The conversion process was extensive and expensive, requiring new lighting systems, proper mirrors, seat belts, and emissions equipment. Dunham had to work with specialized automotive shops to ensure the vehicle met all Department of Transportation requirements. The result was the world's only street-legal 1989 Batmobile that could be legally driven to car shows and events. This unique modification made Dunham's version one of the most valuable and practical Batmobiles in existence. Number 4. The design was inspired by 1930s salt-flat racers and 1950s Corvette Stingrays. When Anton Furst and Julian Caldo were developing the Batmobile's distinctive look, they drew inspiration from some of automotive history's most extreme machines. The long, low-profile, and aggressive stance came directly from the salt-flat racing cars of the 1930s, vehicles designed purely for speed records on Utah's Bonneville salt flats. These streamlined machines prioritized aerodynamics over everything else, creating the characteristic wedge shape. The team also studied the 1950s Corvette Stingray concept cars, particularly their muscular proportions and dramatic fender lines. As first explained, they wanted to combine pure expressionism with the most brutal automotive designs ever created. This approach resulted in a vehicle that looked both retro and futuristic, suggesting incredible speed even when standing still. Number 3. It appeared in over 14 different video games throughout the 1990s. The 1989 Batmobile became a star of the early video game industry, appearing in more games than any other movie car of its era. From simple side-scrolling action games to more complex driving simulators, the distinctive vehicle was featured across multiple gaming platforms including Nintendo, Sega, and early PC systems. Game developers loved the car's dramatic silhouette and array of weapons, which translated perfectly into pixelated form. Some games allowed players to use all the vehicle's gadgets including machine guns, grappling hooks, and armor mode. The Batmobile's video game appearances helped cement its status as a pop culture icon beyond just the movies. Many young fans who couldn't see R-rated Batman films were introduced to the vehicle through these games, expanding its cultural impact significantly. Number 2. The car served as a spokesman for OnStar in 1999. In one of the strangest celebrity endorsement deals of the 90s, the 1989 Batmobile was hired as the official spokesperson for General Motors' new OnStar emergency communication system. This was particularly ironic considering that Warner Brothers had rejected GM's $6 million offer to build the original car 10 years earlier. The advertising campaign featured the Batmobile promoting OnStar's ability to provide emergency assistance and navigation help to drivers. The commercials played up the connection between Batman's high-tech crime-fighting equipment and OnStar's advanced communication technology. The campaign was surprisingly successful, with the Batmobile's credibility helping to establish OnStar as a legitimate safety feature rather than just an expensive gadget. This marked one of the first times a movie vehicle had been used as a commercial spokesperson for a real automotive product. Number 1. Production had only 5 months to build both hero cars from start to finish. Perhaps the most impressive fact about the 1989 Batmobile is how quickly it went from concept to completed vehicle. Anton Furst and his team had just 5 months to design, engineer, and build a fully functional Batmobiles ready for filming. This incredibly tight deadline meant that design work, engineering, and construction all had to happen simultaneously with no room for major revisions. As Furst admitted, the Batmobile worried him more than building the massive Gotham City sets because it was such a crucial element that had to work perfectly on camera. The team worked around the clock with body sculpting, mechanical systems, and paint work all happening in parallel. The fact that they delivered to working vehicles on time and on budget, both of which performed flawlessly throughout filming, remains one of the greatest achievements in movie car construction history. And there you have it, 20 weird facts about the 1989 Batmobile that even the biggest Batman fans probably didn't know. Which fact surprised you most? Drop your favorite Batmobile moment in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell for more movie car secrets. Until next time, I am Vengeance, I am the Knight, I am your movie car historian.